You've heard of people transitioning from one gender to another, but have you heard of someone transitioning from being able-bodied to being disabled? Transabled is a term that has been around on the internet for a couple of years now, prominently in spaces like Tumblr and Reddit. It isn't what it sounds like. It is not transgender people who are disabled, it is able-bodied people who want to be disabled. One definition of transabled can be also known as body identity integrity disorder, a term used to describe the desire of an able-bodied person to modify their body to acquire a physical impairment. Disability fakers are not new to the internet. They have been around for quite a while, and they've been the topic of a lot of commentary YouTube videos for quite some time. However, transabled people are a little bit more than fakers. They're fakers who openly identify and own up to their own faking. I've collected some screenshots from Tumblr and Reddit, and let's get into it. I want to first of all start off by saying that I'm going to be talking mostly about people who want to be physically disabled, just because that's the topic I know the most about. Oops, just revealed my pajama pants. The transabled community is a big umbrella, and it includes mental disorders as well as physical disorders, as well as just kind of, from what I've gathered, anything you want. For example, I would be fully supported if I were to say that I am a cis wheelchair user and I'm trans brunette. This person said, if you can abort a child, you can abort your own limbs, etc. Makes sense to me. Hope this helps. And then someone replied and said, I could not imagine thinking this is an okay thing to say. Holy shit. This person with a typing quirk said, I love physically transabled. You deserve wheelchairs just as much as people who can't use their legs. For some reason, I feel like that's slightly untrue. Cis-abled, pro-disabled culture is respecting and supporting transableds and the understanding that they're not taking away our resources since they need them as much as us. Kind of piggybacking off that last one, something tells me you don't need a wheelchair as much as someone who does need a wheelchair. This person on Tumblr said, transabled people deserve disability benefits. I hope one day we can be accepting enough to make change like this. Identity is no joke and people deserve to have their identity supported. Okay, disability benefits are really hard to get. I mean, I can only speak as an American who is going through the process right now. As someone who is physically disabled, severely physically disabled, I declined in a year. I'm still expecting my first round to be declined because of how impossible it is to get disability benefits. The idea of someone knowingly faking a disability, getting benefits over me because they faked it better than I reeled it, that's a problem. That's gonna be a problem. There are, of course, manifesting posts. This one says, neurological disorder, transabled manifesting. I need an EEG. I need a wheelchair. I need crutches. I need hand braces. I need to be hospitalized. I need to be inpatient. I need to be admitted. People that say this have never spent a night in a hospital in their life, for sure. Or if they have, it was like for someone else, you know, and they were like, oh, wish it were me. A huge part of the transabled community is making flags for their specific identities. Transids is what they're called. This one is a transabled identity that describes an individual who intentionally feels that they're a child without the lower part of the limbs or parts of the body below the knees or elbows. And for some reason, the flag is a little kid with ears and a tail. It's not explained why this person also gets cat ears and a cat tail when they get their limbs amputated. Of course, not to be confused with pup handicap, which is a transabled identity referring to someone who is pup gender, or pupkin, and who desire to physically acquire a disability, or a physical non-disabled pup gender pupkin who internally feels a disability without necessarily desire to become physically disabled. Wait, you can identify as this even though internally you don't want to be physically disabled? So you're admitting you don't actually want to be physically disabled. You just want to cosplay as someone who is. Of course, not to be confused with Kodo Handy, which is a trans age and transabled identity in which one internally identifies as a disabled kid around the age of 1 to 10 years old, or someone who is Kodo mage. Just, I guess, this desire to physically acquire disability. Like, how is that? No, I guess it is different because the other one wants to cut their limbs off. This one is they just want to be disabled. Also, that little kid, he needs to be fitted into a better wheelchair. That is not a good wheelchair for him. He's way too big in that thing. This is a good one. This is, Xenomilady. Xenomiladies are diseases, mental illnesses that are not possible for now. Xenomilady. There's also lots of helpful posts around that give information on how to acquire certain mobility aids in, I guess, secret. For example, wheelchairs. Wheelchairs, unless you live in a spacious area without any judging eyes, are hard to turn discreet. Well, folding wheelchairs are a thing. Okay, so like every wheelchair folds, unless you're talking about like a really big power chair. All wheelchairs fold. This wheelchair folds. They also have advice on how to get canes. Canes are like especially popular with these people, and I think it appeals to them because you can fold a cane up and put it away forever, and no one would know that you secretly have a cane that you use because you want to meet it. We normalize finding some disorders cute. This person said, this child obviously said, I'm so excited to get a wheelchair as an adult. I'm gonna decorate it all pretty and have a bunch of stickers and padding, space to hold things. I mean, obviously a child wrote this, but romanticizing wheelchairs is just so, just makes me feel so weird. Oh, this is a good flag. Cis-disabled trans wheelchair user / disabled trans wheelchair user. A transabled subterm for being cis-disabled and feeling as though you should have a wheelchair. What? How is that different? This person posted, genuinely crying over the fact that I've seen so many people in public with mobility aids and I don't. I'm over here actually crying and having a breakdown over this stupid shit. I'm so fucking mad. The idea that someone would be seeing me in public and it would upset them so much to the point that they have a breakdown over not having to struggle in the way I have to struggle every day. Yeah, that deserves no sympathy. At all. Absolutely no sympathy for the fact that you aren't disabled and are sad about it. You don't want this. No one does. Trans wheelchair culture is getting a lot of euphoria when you get a leg cramp that makes it hard to walk. Oh my god, you're going to hell for that one. Trans chronic pain culture is getting symptoms of chronic pain and ow, 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 yay, ow, ow. Is it yay? Is it ow, ow, yay? This person celebrated Transabled Visibility Day with about 700 exclamation points, and I found out that that was April 25th. Which I then did some research and found out that April 25th is also International Guide Dog Day. So if you're gonna be celebrating April 25th, celebrate it for the guide dogs who are actually helping disabled people. This person posted twice on the same day. As a cis-disabled person, I want people to use mobility aids as an aesthetic pieces. The same way glasses, disability aid, are used as an aesthetic piece. Yes, use that cane. Yes, use those crutches. Yes, use that walker. Yes, use that wheelchair. Maybe then they become more commonplace. Wheelchair cure culture, which is the same as transabled wheelchair users. Staring at wheelchair users out of jealousy and love. I need to know what kind of chair you have. If you stare at me in public, I'm not going to assume that's out of jealousy. And if I find out that you're jealous of me being disabled, I will run over you with my wheelchair. Actually, they probably want me to do that, so. Transabled culture is following cis-disabled blogs to mirror their symptoms for euphoria. If you're following me for any reason that has to do with copying my symptoms, it's time to unfollow. It's time to unfollow me now. I'm getting numbness in my left foot. It's starting. I'm trans disabled and I just wish I could be in a wheelchair, tube fed and cared for. I also wish I had cancer or alopecia. One of my favorite things I discovered was a poll. They say, "Dear trans ID folks, if you encountered a machine that could perfectly transition you into your trans IDs without any unexpected drawbacks, would you use it?" The large majority, 56.5%, said, "I'd only want to use it for some of my trans IDs." This group of people are admitting that at the end of the day, despite the fact that they claim these terms and they want these things and they want to be trans Asian and they want to be a trans wheelchair user, despite all of this, they wouldn't actually fully go through with it because they know that would make their life significantly harder. This person also made a guide to getting trans pots and says, "As someone who has fully transitioned into trans pots, I am more than glad to help." I don't really know what they mean by they fully transitioned into having pots. Does that mean that they literally have pots? I don't think so. So are they just really good at pretending to have pots? Headaches. Most people with pots have said to have unexplainable headaches, so complaining about headaches can help. Just complaining about headaches that you don't have. This is a good one. Wheelchair queer flux describes an individual who uses a wheelchair for non-normative reasons and the usage/desire of usage fluctuates. So somebody who wants to use a wheelchair sometimes for fun, but doesn't actually want the consequence of a wheelchair. So what is this all? What does this all mean? Is this community really hurting disabled people if they're just increasing visibility of mobility aid users, and they're admitting that they aren't faking, or they're admitting that they are faking? So really, is that hurting disabled people? My stance is yes. And it's mostly because this isn't transitioning into having a disability. This is mocking what you think a disability looks like. You don't know what you would look like in a wheelchair. You don't know what you would look like using a mobility aid if you actually required one. So as somebody who is trans mobility aids or whatever, they're mocking us. They're just mocking disabled people. They're going with what they think it would look like. What they're doing isn't transitioning, it's cosplaying. It's wanting to have a wheelchair without any of the bad aspects of it. Planning out a trip to go to a restaurant with your friends, and then you get there, and even though it said it was accessible online, it isn't accessible. It's having children come up to you and mock you for your physical disability to your face, and having to just accept it. Obviously, these people need some sort of help, but is that help giving them what they want? I don't think so. It should be specialized therapy to get them out of these thoughts. Obviously, BIID is a real thing, but transabled is a whole separate community that includes those people, but it's not exclusive. So not everyone inside of this community has BIID. It's super, super rare. It's way more likely that these people just need therapy to get out of the mindset that they deserve to have something to make them feel better at the expense of mocking other people. You don't always get what you want. You don't get a wheelchair because you want one, you get a wheelchair because you need one. Thank you for watching this video. I could probably make like 100 of these about various identities inside of this transabled label, and also just rad queer in general. That label is just full of some gnarly stuff. My name is Eva. I am a cis disabled, cis wheelchair user, cis sexy hot. I am trans YouTubers. I'm not a transgender YouTuber. I'm transitioning into being a YouTuber. This is, of course, my first ever YouTube video, except for a couple years ago when I uploaded my high school production of Heather's, the song Candy Store. Besides that, this is my first YouTube video, so if you'd like to like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. You would help me in my transition into becoming, once again, a YouTuber. All right, cis disabled girl, signing out.